Sometimes when you're doing your Doodly project, you don't just want your objects to be drawn, but you want to make them move. One of the videos that I made showed my character Mary throwing papers in the air and letting them fall to the ground. This is the one that I'll illustrate in this video. I had a couple of videos where I wanted to make some objects move. One of them, balloons going up in the sky, clouds moving overhead, and one of them where a character I had named Mary was throwing a bunch of papers up in the air and they all landed on the ground. So these are all examples of how you can make objects move in Doodly, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video. First of all, I'm going to get Mary in here. And this is Mary. I think the storyline was that she had finished something and was so happy that she threw all the papers she had into the air. I don't really remember what the storyline was. I had one of them where she let go of balloons and all that, but we're going to do the paper one. So first thing that we have is her in here, and then we need to find some paper. So over here, here's a piece of paper, and then we'll size it the way we want. Now, we're going to make several copies of this. We're going to do a copy, duplicate, and all that stuff. So the first thing I want to do on this piece of paper is to change the timing on the paper, because I don't want it to be drawn in. I just want it to appear. So over right here, I'm changing the duration to 0, so that you won't see the hand drawing it on. I don't want that. I want the hand to draw her on, but I want the papers to appear, and then I want them to go up into the air and land back on the ground. So I'm going to take this one and then right click and copy and paste a bunch of them. I'll do like 4 or 5. So I'll copy, and we have 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5. That should be good enough. So then we can move them all around here. And so they're going to be up in the air. And I want enough room to where they can go up farther. So we'll do this. Is that all I did? No. Okay. Hopefully that's the last one. I didn't want to do too many of these. Okay. So there we have these going up in the air. She's happy. She lets them go and all that. Now, before we can do this, one thing we have to do is to go over here to scene settings. One thing we do not want is for the scene to swipe into the next scene, or you're going to get something that looks like it swipes into the next scene and then you get the paper going up. So we don't want to do that. So to keep it from swiping into the next scene, you go over here where it says exit animation, and then you do none, because we don't really want that to happen. You'll see why in a minute when we do some duplicating. Okay, so we have exit animation. The extra time, I would like for this to be 0, but this defaults to 0.5 seconds. So you'll see that it kind of matters if you're really picky about it, that we can't get it lower than this. So we've got the exit animation to none, and then we apply, and then our exit animation is now none. Now the next thing we're going to do is we need to duplicate this scene, because this is going to go to the next scene where the papers go higher and higher and higher, and then they come down. So on this one, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to hit duplicate, and our scene will duplicate right here. So we're on this scene right now. Now we want to change the time on all these to 0. So here's the duration. We need to get Mary down to 0. Okay, And then I know it's already done, but we'll just double check and make sure that everything is on 0. So here's your duplicated scene, and then we'll go into scene settings and make sure that this is set to none, and it is. Okay, so I don't know, I'm just kind of freaked out to make sure that it does what it usually does. If you do everything that you're supposed to do on the first scene, then you won't have to worry about changing the settings because they'll be where you want them. Now this scene right here is an exact duplicate of the first scene, except that we've set all the time durations to 0. So what we want to do is we want to take these papers and move them up. And so they're going to be going up in the air. And you'll see what I mean when I hit preview. So we're going to preview this and check to make sure we haven't missed anything, because I kind of do that a lot. So here's the preview. It's drawing Mary on. There's the papers. And notice how they moved up because they went into the next scene when they were moving up. Now all you have to do is this scene right here is right click on it, and then you're going to duplicate it. And then we're going to move the papers up some more. This is going to be the last time I move them up, or else we're going to be here for a long time moving these papers up. So now we've moved them up. And now I'm going to, this scene we're on, I'm going to duplicate it again. And then I'm going to move them back down because they're going to start to fall to the ground. So we'll move them back down. Okay, and then this last scene, we'll duplicate this one. And then we'll move the papers down. And then we'll duplicate the scene again. And then on this one, I'll move all the papers down to the floor because by now they should have probably all fallen to the floor. Okay, so as you can probably see, I've got my autosave on, so which probably everybody should have. Okay, so now they're all down to the floor. To see what this whole thing looks like, let's play preview. Okay, so you can see that the papers go up and down and fall to the ground. So if you want anything to move like that, that's how you do it. It's really not that hard to do depending on how exact you want to make it. It's going to be kind of jerky, well, it's more jerky before you render the film. It actually does look a lot smoother after you've rendered the film. So anyway, I'll probably render the video and show you what it looks like. But because there's that 0.5 that I told you about in here, for each extra time between scenes, we can't make this lower. That's not only the default, but that's the lowest that it's going to go. So it's not going to be as smooth as you would like it, but it is a good thing to have if you want that kind of effect, which I wanted in this one. So that's it. That's how you can get objects to move in Doodly. I hope there's something in this video that you found useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Also, leave a comment to let me know if you're a Doodly user and that you've subscribed.